hello world. This is Sweet Potato Slim here. Thanks for tuning in. Wanted to just try a crazy idea here, and that was to do a little live stream. I put together quite a bit of equipment here, and have been thinking about it a long time. You know, one of the things I've been playing for a long time, but for the last, I'd say 7 or 8 years, basically I've been playing in my room here, and you know, wanted to find a way to get my music out there and put it out there in kind of a different way, a non-judgmental way for me. You know, most of the stuff I play, the best stuff I play is in the room here, and it doesn't get out because I put some judgment or attachment to it. And, you know, I figured, hey, you know, put something out there with no no chance to prejudge it. And, yeah, let's switch guitars over here. This was playing with the this is the National Rezo Rocket, beautiful guitar. So this is Larrivee. It's got a nice koa back and sides. Playing with an LR Baggs Anthem. Anyway, it sounds pretty good. I've obviously got a farmer foot drum here. So the theme of this this live stream and this jam here is really thankfulness. You know, I've got into a position here where I'm finally able to, you know, play and feel good. But for the last, I'd say 2 years, maybe 1.5 years, 2 years, I've had some pretty crappy health stuff go on. You know, that kind of led to chronic fatigue-like symptoms, and you know, made it hard for me to even get out of bed, let alone think about putting some music out there. So as I was laying there, you know, the two things that I thought about is I wanted to play more music, wanted to get a chance to get some music out there, but I wanted to share some experiences and wanted to share, you know, what the journey that I've gone through with guitar. I mean, I've been playing 30 years and I've learned a lot. And one thing that I know is that a lot of the people who follow me, a lot of people who watch my videos are musicians themselves, and they're playing. And, you know, everybody is in their stage of their journey. And you know, hopefully I think I've gone, you know, ahead of some people. You know, obviously there's people that I'm you know, learning from and following behind on. But I certainly want to share my knowledge and the things that I've learned. So thinking about some thankfulness, let's just do a little thankful jam. technical glitch there. My iPad just shut off. So thanks for tuning in. Wanted to tell you a little bit about, my goals here and what I was thinking. If you miss it on the intro, one of the things I wanted to do is put my music out there, but the other thing, I wanted to share some insights and experiences, some things about, playing the guitar, things that I've learned, because I know a lot of people that are following me play the guitar themselves. And anyway, we'll kind of trade off my guitars here and stuff. A little clunky, I apologize for that. So, if you're out there and you're playing the guitar, or you're playing an instrument, it's easy to get frustrated, I've been playing for 30 years. The thing about it is it's not just a straight line, it's not like you learn on a continuous line or even kind of a soft curve. I mean, you start off at this level, maybe you learn a little bit, you pop up, you stay at a little plateau, you learn a little bit, pop up, and then you may stick at some plateau for a long period of time. And, I certainly, fell into that. I started out and I learned all this stuff. I mean, I was the guitar store hero. I'm not too proud to admit it, but, I'd go into a guitar store and I'd play, Eruption, or I'd play Cliffs of Dover, or, Metallica, just because I could play it, and I was focused on learning, songs and learning, the exact techniques and the right way that, Kirk Hammett played it, or, the exact same way that Jimi Hendrix played something. And, I got pretty good at it, I won't lie about it. But that was, my mentality was, let's learn this technical stuff, learn to play just like this guy, like the music that moves me. And, did that for about 7 or 8 years, and certainly, was good, but I hit this plateau, and I wanted more from my music. It was right about the time that I started going to college, and, I said, hey, I was reading some Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss type stuff, and I was like, I was a business major at Florida State, and through high school I'd earned enough, college credit that I had some things to spare. So I said, I'm gonna minor in music and in guitar. And they got a world-renowned guitar music program over there. The guitar instructor was studied under Andre Segovia. I mean, he's phenomenal. And so 7 years, 8 years I'd been playing. I said, I could pick it up, but it's classical guitar, So I spent 6 months, maybe 8 months, doing just classical guitar. Didn't pick up an electric, didn't play any blues, didn't play anything. Just started doing classical guitar. So I did it for 6-8 months, 2 days a week, doing, lessons, but all I did was just practice my arpeggios and my, everything. And get to the end of the summer, it's time to audition. Lug myself over there, go audition for this program, and I go through and I play, and I didn't play my best. I was a little nervous, but I didn't think I played too bad. But the instructor there was like, in the middle of me playing, he's like, stop, just stop right there. And he says, I'm sure you're like a really good, you're pretty good at playing like blues, like real simple stuff. He said, but you're the absolute worst classical guitar player I've ever seen. And he just ripped me to shreds. I mean, he's like, your fingers look like spaghetti, your tone sucks. I mean, he ripped me to shreds. And, he said, I can't let you into this program. He said, if you want to, do music, he said, I'll go ahead and let you in, but, you can't do this. So, I had spent so much time and so much energy, into like learning this, and because this is what like I wanted, I was like, man, I'm going to learn theory and, all this stuff. And it was like I was deflated, like it just didn't work, and I remember getting into the car, just, kind of bawling, and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. So as I was driving back, to the room, in Tallahassee down the street, there's Monroe Street, there was a guitar store right on the right, and I pulled in, and, guy at the front says, hey man, can I help you? And I'm like, no, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And I grabbed the first guitar I saw. It was this cherry red Telecaster. And, I sat down, plugged it in, and I just started playing like. just like that with my fingers. You know, I'd never played, you know, I'd always played with a pick before when I was playing blues and playing other stuff. But, you know, just going through 6 or 8 months of just playing classical guitar, I mean, I just started playing with the fingers. And I was like, whoa, you know, like, this is something, you know, this is me, this is my style, this is, you know, this is my authentic sound. And, you know, ever since then, I mean, it was like this, you know, so it was on this plateau, but like as soon as I like realized like, oh, hey, this is the authentic sound that I'm going after, it was like, boom, you know, it was like this big jump up and this big boost of creativity and you know, just, you know, opening up to a different world. And so now, you know, I've spent the last probably 20 years now, you know, playing in this style, but I don't think about technical stuff. I don't, you know, so ever since then, I've never practiced a day, you know, I just sit down and I play and I let things unfold. It's like I'm looking at this landscape, you know, and I see a little bit more of it every day, every time that I play. And that's, you know, that's really what it's about. You know, if you know, taking it to your level, you know, to where you're at, you know, if you're playing and you feel like you're, you know, sitting here at some plateau, you know, don't necessarily focus on, you know, the technical aspects and the little things and the standard of what somebody else thinks is perfection, or is, you know, what you should be playing. But look for that authentic style, because when you find it, then, you know, then you start, you know, going down this path where you're uncovering things and you're you know, learning, you know, more about the depth and the nuances of music. So we'll go ahead and on that theme just kind of play a little bit of blues. There we go, just a little bit of blues. Yeah, cool. Thanks for that comment, man. Yeah, you know, I appreciate it. Who is that? Remus? Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or anything you know you'd like to ask? I mean, thank you. Yeah, you know, I'm not really much of a guitar teacher. I only just taught myself. I don't know whether I was a good teacher or a good student, but I certainly learned a lot there. Let me give you a quick rundown of just the gear that I'm working through here. This guitar, this is a New Orleans guitar. Here, actually, watch this. I can zoom in. Check it out. All right. So this is a New Orleans guitar. Made by the New Orleans Guitar Company, a guy named Vincent Goudreau in New Orleans, of all places, right? But he goes out to the swamp and he pulls out this, you know, this swamp ash wood, and this is actually just a single carved, you know, carved neck right straight through the guitar, and I love it. It's actually a beautiful instrument. Figured as I'm, you know, thankful here today and doing some thankful jams, I wanted to use that one and jam it out. Thanks. But yeah, I'm playing with a farmer foot drum here. Hopefully you can see my footwork there. I've been working on this for quite a while. I mean, it's a lot harder than it looks. Thank you. But yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks to play this thing, but I've taken some time and certainly learned it, and you know, I got it mic'd up, and I think hopefully it sounds good over there. I was playing right there. That was the Larrivee. I've got Gibson Les Paul. I've got, you know, obviously my National Reza Rocket. But anyway, I've got all this running through. I've got it running through an RME Fireface. And I'm just using that straight into a Focusrite Scarlett i2, which is running into a Mevo camera. So Mevo's by Livestream, and you know, I'm running the program here on the iPad, and yeah, so I put this stuff together. It was kind of you know, just doing research and trying to do it. I did a few sound checks on it. This is my first time actually just, you know, putting it out there and doing it. So I wanted to see, like, okay, hey, if I, you know, did a live stream, would anybody actually watch? And it's cool to see that a few people are actually out there. And I think probably some of them are my mom or, you know, like my parents or something, you know, paid fans. But yeah. So any requests for, you know, something you'd like to hear? I mean, I'm just an improvisational player. I like to play just whatever flows and whatever comes. But you know, pick a guitar up here. What do you want to see? The Thrill Is Gone by B.B. King. All right. We'll do that one in. go. Sweet Potato Slim swinging, singing. Ah, thanks. Well, how about I pull out this old resonator guitar? I believe I dust my broom. Get up in the morning, baby. I believe I dust my broom. Tell that other man you've been loving, Lordy, he can have my broom. I'm gonna write a letter, telephone every town I know. Telephone every town I know. If I can't find her in Chicago, she's in East Monroe, baby, I know. I'm gonna move up to the country. Lord, I'm gonna paint my mailbox blue. Gonna move up to the country, baby. Lord, I'm gonna paint my mailbox blue. Put some flowers on it, maybe some little trailing vines in it. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, the fingerstyle is on the highest level there. That's a great comment. Thank you. Yeah. Obviously, the guy over there at Florida State didn't think so, but you know, that's the thing is, you know, find your own way through this. You know, if I worried about what everybody thought, you know, I'd probably still be stuck in this room, right? But this is a great thing. You know, I think when you got, you know, music, you know, it's something you definitely want to put out there and, you know, try to do more of. I actually had a great experience, you know, I decided I wanted to get this music out, and, you know, I'm this big believer that, you know, things happen for a reason. And if you just put, you know, you follow what you want to do and you put your intentions out there and your intentions are good, that, you know, the universe is going to find ways to make things happen. And, I was sitting there a couple weeks ago and I said, you know, I just want, what I need to do is just put together some material, and play out. That's my biggest thing is holding me up, is I just feel like I don't have any materials because I'm just an improvisational player. But so you know what, I'm going to put something together. I'm just going to record some videos and send it out to some places, and maybe I'll get a gig or something like that. And next thing I know, I stumble upon a LinkedIn page of somebody I'm connected with. He was saying, there's this thing, if you support live music, you got to check this out. So far Sounds Orlando. And I had never heard of this. And I was like, man, let me check it out. So I check it out, and it's a really cool story. If you haven't checked out So Far Sounds, you don't know what it is, and you love music, you need to check it out, because this was like awesome. It just like blew my mind that this was even happening. I guess I've been stuck in this room for too long, but basically it's this thing where they organize, they get some musicians together to come to like somebody's house or a business, but it's a very intimate environment, and I was like just blown away that like, wow, like it just seems so cool. So I reached out, through an email. I was like, hey, God, I'd love to support it any way I can. If I can make some donations or, help me, I'll volunteer some time or whatever, but, I'd love to help it out because I think it's a great concept. And, by the way, I'm a musician too. Check out my stuff on YouTube, and get a little message back. And they're like, wow, we love your stuff. How would you feel about playing tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it. And then I was like, oh shit, like what the hell am I going to do? So I called my wife. I was like, hey, what do you think? And she's like, yeah, you got to do it, but then I was like kind of scared, crazy because I didn't know what I was going to do. But anyway, I just figured, okay, I always had this vision that, if I were going to be playing with an audience and playing with people there, that, I just, I would feed off the vibe, and, it's obviously tougher to do on a video thing where I, don't see much, but here in this live room, there were, maybe 50 people there, but it was just really cool vibe and this really, great energy. And I was just like, man, let me just, get this together and just play some stuff, and it was really just quite an amazing experience, and one I hope to do soon again. But it really lit this fire that like man, this is cool, and this little one-man jam band concept is pretty fun, and I hope you guys like it, because it's been fun putting this together and doing that. But yeah. So, any requests or questions? Or so you got a few people out there, which is awesome. I'll tell you a story. So, so after that whole thing, happened with, the non-classical guitar, that stuff not working out, I really, started focusing just on playing. And, I bought a 4-track, and I started to record my own stuff and listen to my own music. And, I learned a lot from that, and I gained a lot from that. I never really took lessons outside of just those classical lessons things. I never took lessons. I really just taught myself by listening, reading tab and doing all of that. So, it's really just truly has been, like uncovering my own path and moving there. But I did have, one guy that I would consider a mentor, and this was at Florida State, too. So, it was really cool because the music program there, they do have like, a lot of world music, and they had this one thing called the Blues Lab, and they got this guy, Charles Atkins, soul brother #1 of Tallahassee. He's a blind piano blues man, very much in the train of Ray Charles. In fact, went to the same school for the deaf and blind as Ray Charles did. So, he's got that connection there. I think he, might have played with him a few times or whatever, but, really great guy. And he puts on this blues lab, we're basically just a bunch of, musicians who come in, and then they, it's like a jam, and, he tries to structure it and like rein in all the guitar players. We had I think we had like 7 or 8 guitar players, 1 bass player, 1 drummer, a couple people who could sing, and some horn people. So it was like, okay, rein in these guitar players and let's play some blues. And, but it was really cool. And Charles was really an amazing guy, because he really took a lot of time that he didn't have to. And he was like, so, he's this, blind, guy. And he's like, man, he's like, Kevin, it's like, you sound good. You could play, but you need some soul. You need some soul. Come to my house. Come to my house Sunday. I'll show you some stuff. So, I go over to his house, the east side of Tallahassee, Sunday morning, and, walk into his room. He's got this little piano set up, and, got this little picture. He's got this picture of him and Ray Charles up on the wall. And I know he can't see it. He never probably could see it, but I think that's probably like one of his pride and joys. And he would just sit there and, teach me about the blues. He'd teach me about, he's like, all right, you're good. But, the big thing really for me, if you're a blues player, this is a really important lesson, is keeping your mind on the beat. I was at that time I listened to a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, listened to a lot of Eric Clapton, and if you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to emulate them, you're going to copy a lot of that, and a lot of that stuff, especially with Stevie, there's a lot of syncopation, a lot of stuff there. But if you don't realize it, everything needs to be stuck on the beat. And what he told me about blues, he said, blues started out, this was slavery music. And, when the slaves were on the plantation, they weren't allowed to play music. They weren't allowed to play musical instruments. All they were allowed to play were fife and drums. So everything is just, on the beat. And if you listen to blues music, you'll feel that, So that was it, that kind of stuff. And we would just sit there and we would play, stuff like that. And you would, say, okay, hey, play this song, and tell me some of the lineage and stuff like that. And it was really, to me, was, something that was, he did it from his heart. And I'm extremely grateful, for, all the lessons that he passed on, and certainly for being able to learn the blues from somebody. Because it's like a metronome. Well, that's the thing. I mean, if anything that I have practiced on, it's just this, 1 and 2, and trying to keep some syncopation and some other things going with it. A good example, because I also love like flamenco music, but I'm a horrible flamenco player. But even with that, you got to stay on the beat. I mean, that's not really flamenco, but, to me it is so. Tune. Well, anyway, guys, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope this has been a good experience for me. This has been great. I definitely want to do more of this, especially if you're up for it. I love playing music. I love sharing it. But one of the things I really, I'm looking forward to, the new year. One of the things I'd like to do in this new year is, help share some of the knowledge and some of the things that I've learned. Maybe help, pass along some of that knowledge that was passed along to me, as a torch. So I want to thank everybody here for tuning in. Definitely reach out, connect with me if you're not connected on Instagram or Facebook, and if you're in the Orlando or Central Florida area, maybe you'll see me out playing pretty soon. So thanks, everybody. Oh, thanks. I definitely will. Shoot me, if you got like, some requests or like things that maybe you're, stumbling on, in your playing, if you do play, let me know, kind of what challenges you're facing, because I guarantee you I probably have faced them, in my 30 years of playing, and maybe I might just have some insight, Look, I know that you're going to play your own way. You're going to find your own way through this instrument, and that's the way it should be. But if I can just, shine a little light and provide some guidance, I'd love to do that. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it.